I'm talking to you man to man, accountability. She's found in a trash bag. That was you put in a trash bag? Maybe they're right. You have no heart. Turn all the burners on in the house and then skip to Mexico for however long? The words that resonated from their statements was coward. Don't look down at me. Look me in the eye. I'm looking you dead in the eye. I think they're right. A killer and a coward. A coward to the point where you can't even acknowledge to the family here the gravity of your actions.
Case number Tundu 185501FC, People versus Efron Medina. The official docket doesn't capture what happened in that courtroom. It records the charge reduction from first-degree murder to involuntary manslaughter. It records the sentence of 6 to 15 years plus a mandatory 2-year firearm enhancement. What the docket cannot record is the moment a veteran judge with over 4 decades in the profession looked a convicted killer in the eye and admitted that he felt nothing. Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to the VerdictOrigin, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. Here's what the procedural record tells you. Efron Medina shot Natalie Ram in the head. He then placed her body in a trash bag, turned on every gas burner in the house, and fled to Mexico for what one family member described as a 1-year vacation. 3 trials, 3 hung juries, and then a plea deal that dropped the charge from premeditated murder to manslaughter. On paper, a case that the system struggled to close. In that courtroom, a case that exposed something far more disturbing than legal deadlock. Think of that courtroom as a pressure chamber. For nearly 30 minutes, family member after family member entered that sealed environment and released years of compressed grief directly at the defendant. A grandfather describing how his grandson lost his favorite teacher, an aunt cataloging every milestone erased, graduations, weddings, and grandchildren who will never wrap their arms around Natalie's neck. A mother-in-law abandoning her own faith's command to pray for the sinner because, in her words, you have no soul. A 15-year-old daughter writing poetry about the beach, the county fair, the Christmas tree.
For a school assignment shortly after Natalie was cruelly taken from her. The assignment was to write about someone special to you. These are the words of a grieving 13-year-old girl, remembering just some of her favorite times spent with her mom. She is now 19 years old and missing her mom every day. The poem is entitled, I Miss Your Face, Mom. We're at the beach, hand in hand, relaxing on the blanket and playing in the sand. We stay till the sun has set because we do not want to go just yet. I'll miss these things big and small. Love you all and all. As we wander through the rides at the county fair, the smell of funnel cakes roams through the air. As the day turns into night, the lights of the Ferris wheel shine so bright. I'll miss these things big and small. I love you all and all. The different colored lights we see as we decorate the Christmas tree. Baking cookies and other treats to share when all the family meets. I'll miss these things big and small. I love you all and all. Singing our favorites in the car on all our trips near and far. Laying in bed watching thrilling shows. What's the ending? Nobody knows. I'll miss these things big and small. I love you all and all. Enjoying Sundays on the lake. The sunsets were so beautiful they almost looked fake. Climbing my favorite tree at the place that I love to be. I'll miss these things big and small. I love you all in all. The love that she gave was like no other. The love that came from my mother. She was the only one who truly listened. The way she looked at me made me feel like I glistened. I love these things. Big.
All the small things that now feel like an amputation.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning. My name's Kathy Clements, Kathy Clements. And I'm the aunt of Natalie. And I feel like this entire ordeal has been about Efron Medina. So I want to tell the court who Natalie was. She was a daughter. My youngest sister, Sylvia, is the only daughter. My sister, Sylvia, is absolutely devastated with the loss of Natalie, and as are the rest of our family. Sylvia not only lost her daughter, but her best friend as well. No longer will she be able to pick up a phone and call Natalie to talk about things. No longer can she see and hug her daughter anymore because she's no longer here with us because you, Efron Medina, killed her. She was a granddaughter. Our parents are simply heartbroken with the loss of Natalie. Natalie was one of our parents' favorite grandchildren, and they mourn her greatly. It is especially hard for them because of the way she was taken from us in such a horrific way. She wasn't killed in an accident. She didn't die for some kind of disease. She didn't die from natural causes. She was brutally and selfishly murdered by you, Efron Medina. She was a sister. She was the sister of Christopher and Mark. Both Chris and Mark always looked up to Natalie to keep the family together, as she was always looking out for what was best for each of them. She was the best sister to them, and they loved her greatly. It's especially hard on Chris because he is the older brother, and it hurt him so much to know that he couldn't protect her from you, Efron Medina, her murderer. She was an aunt. She was the aunt of Christopher, Cameron, Colton, Kaylee, Carson, Matthew, and Emily. She will forever be missed by these nieces and nephews, and they will all be lost without the love and guidance that Natalie was always there to give them. Natalie was more than just a wonderful aunt to them. She always treated them like they were her own children. It's almost unbearable to hear the younger ones say that Natalie's in heaven now with the angels. You, Efron Medina, took her away from them. Sorry, I can't get my page. She was a niece. Me, along with all my brothers and sisters, grieved the loss of Natalie because she was a special and wonderful woman inside and out. I myself don't know anyone who didn't like or love Natalie. She was just that kind of person, a true friend to everyone she met. She was generous with her love and compassion to others, and everyone saw that in her, and that's why everybody loved her. I just can't understand why you, Efron Medina, thought that you had the right to take Natalie's life just because she no longer wanted to be with you. And finally, and most importantly, she was a mother herself. She had two beautiful daughters, Taylor, 17 years old, and Caitlin, 15 years old. She absolutely adored those two girls. They were her whole world. She was so proud of each of them and could hardly wait to see them, what they had in life, in store for their lives. She was always talking about them to everyone, and everyone always said she was beaming with pride as she described how much they meant to her. Natalie and I had a conversation back in May of 2020 when she came down to Alabama to visit me. She talked about how Taylor only had one more year of high school before she graduated, and how she was looking forward to Taylor's graduation. She was beyond proud of both of her girls. Well, now that Natalie's no longer here with us because you, Efron Medina, decided to take her life out of some idiotic rage of jealousy, not only did Natalie miss seeing Taylor's graduation, she will also miss seeing Caitlin's graduation as well. She will miss seeing both her daughters graduate from college, both daughters' marriages, both daughters having their own children. She will never know the pure joy of her own grandchildren wrapping their arms around her neck and telling her how much they love her. She will miss everything that was supposed to happen in her life because you, Efron Medina, decided to take her life and take her away from everyone who loved her so much. That's who Natalie was, and that's who you are, Efron Medina. Cowardly and selfishly took her away from us. Thank you.
And then a 17-year-old daughter, now navigating college without a mother's guidance, telling the man who killed her mother that she hopes he rots in hell.
Good morning. My name is Eileen Ramstrom. I'm Natalie's mother-in-law. And me, one of those two beautiful, courageous young ladies sitting over there with their devoted dad who loves them more than anything in the world. I'd like to read a poem for you that Natalie's youngest daughter, Caitlin, wrote. But first, I'd like to share a few words of my own. Natalie was a part of our family for a very long time. My husband and I thought of her as a daughter. Our children thought of her as a sister. We loved her like our own. There was a gentleness about her that's hard to explain. She spoke gently. She touched gently. She loved gently. It was soft. It was sweet. It was genuine. She did not deserve to die this way. We will miss her as long as we live, and we'll never understand how Efron could have done this to her. I've been struggling with something for quite some time now. Being a woman of faith, I feel as though I should pray for your soul. But I've been able to do that after the years of witnessing your lack of accountability or your lack of showing any signs of remorse at all. In fact, it's been the opposite. You've consistently tried to blame others for your crimes and decimated Natalie's character in the process, which was the worst part. I've come to realize that I am unable to pray for your soul because you have no soul. You are pure evil. When you murdered Natalie, you shattered those little girls' hearts into pieces. Their dad and those of us who love them have tried to put the pieces back together. But there will always be an important piece missing, and that is the presence of their precious mother. Those three have been through more heartbreak than anyone should have to endure an entire lifetime. They have gotten each other through the worst of the worst. And I know that Natalie would be so very proud of them. Tay and Kate have so much of her in them. They look like her. They sound like her. Most of all, they love like her. She will live on through them, and he cannot never take that away. Unfortunately, you are not going to be in prison for as long as you rightfully should be. But when your time comes to an end here on this earth, that is when the ultimate judgment will be by the Almighty Father. You won't be able to lie. You won't be able to be offered a plea deal. You'll finally get the punishment that you truly deserve, and you'll burn in hell for all eternity.
One by one they entered, they spoke, and they sat back down, leaving the defendant alone with nothing but the truth they had just deposited into the permanent record.
Just state my name. Taylor Ramstrom. Morning. Me and my mom were best friends. We were exactly like each other, which I'm super glad because she was the best person to ever exist. She cared so deeply for everyone around her, especially her family, including me, my dad, and my sister. We were her everything. All she wanted was for us to be happy and taken care of. She was the best mother I could ever ask for. When you took her life, you took away a part of so many people. She was a rock for a lot of people, and taking that away from us destroyed parts of us that we didn't realize could even be destroyed. My mom did everything she could to make sure that everyone felt loved and safe around her. We used to do everything together. She understood me, she loved me, she cared so much for me. She was the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and I hope one day to be just like her. She was my inspiration for everything. None of us expected this or deserved this. When she went on that trip to Michigan, I was expecting her to come back. I never thought that that was the last time I was going to see her. I was a senior in high school. I didn't get to see her. At my graduation, she wasn't able to help me get ready for college. Going to college has been a very difficult thing for me without having her to guide me. She won't see me grow into the adult she always wanted me to be. She won't be there for any more huge milestones in my life. She won't get to be at my wedding or meet my children. She won't get to become a grandmother, even though she wouldn't want to be old anyways. I just don't understand why someone could do something like this. She was the sweetest person who didn't deserve this. She had her whole life to live, and she deserved to see us grow into the people we are now and will become. This entire situation should have never happened. It ruined my life. It ruined my family's life. It hurt so many people who needed my mom in their life. No matter what she did, bad or not, no one deserves this.
And here's where the transcript becomes something beyond a sentencing hearing. The judge, new to this case, inheriting 6 years of litigation, does something unusual. He doesn't immediately accept the plea agreement that everyone else has signed off on. He turns to the defendant and asks a simple question. What's your take on those statements? What he receives in return is not an answer.
Mr. Medina, anything you'd like to say, sir?
No, Your Honor.
I've had a chance to review the pre-sentence report. As indicated, I am new on this case. I understand that there have been 3 previous trials that resulted in hung juries in all of those cases, in all of those trials, which is probably the principal reason why the prosecutor offered you a charge reduction, I would assume, from the murder in the first degree to manslaughter because of that. But clearly, from hearing from those statements from the family of Natalie this morning, I mean, it's clearly she is well loved, well respected. People have traveled far to be here, have shared their statements, and they're very, very powerful. And from hearing those statements, I just ask you as a human being, Mr. Medina, what's your impact from that? It hit me, it hit you. How so?
How this has impacted me?
How do those statements impact you? Statements of taking her mother away from her. Statements of how she has been kind and nice to people. And how this was such a senseless act. 36 years of age, she's gone. You're 47 and still breathing. So do they have any impact? Is there any empathy in your heart?
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to grow up.
It is a void.
Kids are going to grow up without their mother. I understand that.
She was shot in the head, right? That's That's undisputed, correct? Are you saying that was an accident? You pulled the trigger, right? It takes pressure to pull the trigger. That was you, right?
Yes, sir.
So what caused you to pull the trigger? You've been locked up close to 5 years and you still don't know? You're 47 years of age and you still don't know? You can't own up to this? I know you've owned up to, in terms of taking a plea to a lesser charge. I'm talking to you man to man, accountability. She's found in a trash bag. That was you who put in a trash bag? Maybe they're right. You have no heart. Turn all the burners on in the house? And then skip to Mexico for however long? The words that resonated from their statements was coward. Don't look down at me. Look me in the eye. I'm looking you dead in the eye. I think they're right. A killer and a coward. A coward to a point where you can't even acknowledge to the family here the gravity of your actions.
Silence, evasion, a mumbled acknowledgement that the statements were about taking a mother away from her children, that she was 36 and he is 47 and still breathing. It is the emptiest apology the court has likely ever received. I'm sorry for what happened. If I could take it back, I would. But I can't. They got to deal with it. I got to deal with it. They got to deal with it. 6 words that transform a sentencing hearing into an X-ray of something absent. Not anger. Not defensiveness. Absence. The complete inability to generate even a flicker of authentic human response when confronted with the destruction of a family. The defense attorney scrambles to fill the vacuum, arguing that his client's non-responsiveness doesn't mean what it looks like, that everyone reacts differently to trauma, and that the defendant has accepted responsibility by taking the plea, that the lawyer himself is stumbling over his words from the sheer emotional weight of the moment. It's a reasonable argument. It is also completely wrong in this specific case.
You want me to go along with this agreement? Maybe I should go be the 4th trial. Let me try this case. Because as I look at you, I don't feel anything from you. The Michigan Department of Corrections says it's a good agreement. They're fine with it. The lawyers are fine with it. I'm the last hurdler. And you give me no reason to go along with it.
Your Honor, if I may, I don't think that his non-responsiveness to questions he couldn't anticipate, that he has a right to allocute, he has chose to exercise not to allocute. It doesn't necessarily mean that he feels the way that you think that he feels, and maybe by his body language he's conveying something to you. I don't believe that. I as a person who's talked to him for not as long as, I haven't been on as long as this case as Mr. Makepeace, but I don't think that's a fair representation as to how and what type of individual he is. I know it's fair.
Tell me what is fair. Because what he's throwing to me, I've been a part of this profession over 40 years, my friend. And I know people. I've been in your shoes. I've represented folks charged with this. I've been on his side. Same thing. I know people.
I know.
This is a human reaction.
And the judge knows it. This is where the script flips. A judge who has spent 40 years in the profession, who has represented defendants charged with murder, who has seen every possible human reaction to accountability, looks at the defense attorney and dismantles the argument with surgical precision. I've been in your shoes. I represented folks charged with this. I know people. I know this is a human reaction. Please tell me something I don't know. Enlighten me. What the judge is saying is simple. He's not confused. He's not misreading the body language. He is witnessing something recognizable to anyone who has spent a lifetime in courtrooms. The absence of a soul where one should be. They got to deal with it.
And for a person who, from those words and the glowing words of who this person is, to know that I'm responsible for that, I don't know if I'd be able to tell you anything. I don't know if I'd be able to say anything. So
You may not be able to say anything, but I can just look in the man's eyes. I look in your eyes. You know, I look in your, I don't see anything.
Your Honor, I turn myself in.
Go ahead, yeah.
I turn myself in to face this and to give them what they want. This is what they wanted. They got it. I'm sorry for what happened. If I could take it back, I would, but I can't. I just gotta move forward. They gotta deal with it. I gotta deal with it too. It's terrible.
That's what the defendant said, and the judge recognizes it for what it is. Not remorse, not shock. A complete and total vacancy. You pulled the trigger. It takes pressure to pull the trigger. That was you. You've been locked up for close to 5 years, and you still don't know why. She was found in a trash bag. You put her in the trash bag. Maybe they're right. You have no heart. The words hit the courtroom like a gavel. Maybe they're right. You have no heart. At this moment, the sentence itself becomes almost secondary. The judge openly contemplates rejecting the entire agreement. Maybe I should go for a 4th time try. Let me try this case, because as I look at you, I don't feel anything from you. The Michigan Department of Corrections approved the deal. The prosecution and defense both signed off. 3 trials exhausted the system. And yet here is one judge, the final gatekeeper, staring at a defendant and wondering aloud whether justice is actually being served by letting this man plead to anything less than what he did.
Only because there's a sense agreement in this case. And I have the utmost respect for both attorneys on both sides. I know this was given a lot of discussion. There's been 3 trials, which is unusual. That by itself. I assume that the family was consulted, regarding this sentence agreement. So based on that, I will go along with the agreement and sentence you, Mr. Medina, on count 1, the involuntary manslaughter, to serve a period of 6 to 15 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. On count 2, the felony firearm, it's a mandatory 2 years in prison, which is consecutive to the 6 to 15 in count 1. You should receive credit for 1779 in terms of time served that you spent awaiting disposition of this case. And the way the parties explained in terms of the days, count 1, count 2, that too will be adopted into the judgment. There's also a crime victims amount of $130 and state costs of $68 as well. If you want to appeal your case, Mr. Medina, we'll give you the paperwork to do so. Fill it out, get it back to court within 42 days of today's date. And if you're without the money to hire an attorney, the court will appoint one for you at no charge. And I wish you the best and the family the best moving forward.
There you go.
Acknowledge receipt, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They got to deal with it. The judge ultimately accepts the agreement out of deference to the process and the family consultation, but not before delivering the only judgment that seems to matter in this case. I think they're right. A killer and a coward. The sentence handed down. 6 to 15 years for taking a mother from her children, plus 2 years for the gun, pales next to the judgment that can't be measured in months and years. The judgment that this man, confronted with the total wreckage of his actions, could produce nothing but silence and a shrug. That is the file the transcript records, not what the law did to Efron Medina. What Efron Medina revealed about himself when given every opportunity to prove he was still human. The full sentencing transcript for case 218-5501 FC is public record in the Michigan court system. I want you to find it. Read the victim impact statements in their entirety, including the full poem from Caitlin Ramstrom titled, "I Missed Your Face." And tell me in the comments whether you believe the system's 3 hung juries and eventual plea deal served justice, or whether this outcome proves that sometimes the machinery of the law protects the very people it was designed to judge. If you believe that court transcripts tell the truth that headlines miss, like this video, share it, subscribe to the VerdictOrigin, and turn on notifications. We don't chase the news cycle. We follow the evidence, wherever it leads.